We're here to idea everyone, to fire up your curiosity and connect you with the people and ideas that shape our world. Watch, listen, understand, connect, create. Let's move the human story forward together.
Hello and welcome to The Poetry of Science, a podcast which provides insight into new scientific research via the medium of poetry. I'm your host, Dr. Sam Illingworth, and each week I'll be introducing you to some of the latest scientific findings and sharing a selection of science-themed poetry. After all, we could all do with a little bit more poetry in our lives. In this episode, I'll be exploring new research which has found that elephant extinction could have major impact on atmospheric carbon levels. Rumbling roamers till the earth, treading lightly on giant feet to tend their plots with trunk and tusk and toe. Nature's plough digesting bark and seed to renovate old paths as fresh and thirsty beds. Memories etched deep in the wrinkles of their skin, reaching for a certainty that will not outlast their touch. This poem is inspired by recent research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, which has found that if elephants become extinct, the Central and West African rainforest would lose 6 to 9% of its ability to capture atmospheric carbon. Megaherbivores, or very large animals that eat plants, can influence the structure and functioning of ecosystems by selectively eating certain plant species, which can alter the composition of the plant community and influence the growth and survival of certain plant species themselves. They can also play an important role in seed dispersal, which in turn impacts the regeneration and diversity of plant species in an ecosystem. By promoting the growth of larger, high wood density trees, megaherbivores can increase the amount of carbon stored from the air. As such, megaherbivores can shape carbon sequestration over very large areas, and with it the potential to mitigate some of the effects of the climate crisis. In this new study, researchers investigated how elephants in tropical forests have a significant impact on this carbon sequestration. Using a dataset of nearly 200,000 records and covering over 800 plant species, the researchers found that elephants aid in increasing carbon uptake through their feeding patterns and browsing preferences. Firstly, by eating leaves from plants that have a lower wood density, which makes them tastier and easier to digest, and in turn helps promote the growth of trees with higher wood density. And secondly, by spreading the seeds of trees that are larger and have the highest average wood density amongst different types of trees. The study also showed that if elephants were to disappear, it would cause an increase in the number of small, fast-growing trees with low wood density, which would lead to a 6 to 9% decrease in the amount of carbon captured from the air. This research shows how important megaherbivores like elephants are for keeping tropical forests diverse and helping to store carbon, thereby helping to fight the climate crisis on a global level. Now that you've heard the science, let me read the poem to you again. Rumbling roamers till the earth, treading lightly on giant feet to tend their plots with trunk and tusk and toe. Nature's plough digesting bark and seed to renovate old paths as fresh and thirsty beds. Memories etched deep in the wrinkles of their skin, reaching for a certainty that will not outlast their touch. In this section of the podcast, I'd like to share a poem written by another poet on a topic related to the science that has been discussed so far. In this episode, I'll be reading The Elephant by Dan Chisan. Dan Chisan is an American poet, critic and journalist who was born in Burlington, Vermont in 1971. He's the author of several collections of poetry, including The Afterlife of Objects, published in 2002, Natural History, published in 2005, Where's the Moon, There's the Moon, published in 2010, and The Math Campers, published in 2020. Chassan's many awards include the Whiting Writers Award, a Pushcart Prize, and a fellowship from the Guggenheim Foundation. He's also the Lorraine C. Wang Professor of English at Wellesley College in the United States. The Elephant, by Dan Chassan. How to explain my heroic courtesy? I feel that my body was inflated by a mischievous boy. Once I was the size of a falcon, the size of a lion. Once I was not the elephant I find I am. My pelt sags and my master scolds me for a botched trick. I practiced all night in my tent, so I was somewhat sleepy. People connect me with sadness and often rationality. Randall Jarrell compared me to Wallace Stevens, the American poet. I can see it in the lumbering tercets, but in my mind I'm more like Eliot, a man of Europe, a man of cultivation. Anyone so ceremonious suffers breakdowns. I do not like the spectacular experiments with balance, the high-wire acts and cones. We elephants are images of humility as when we undertake our melancholy migrations to die. Did you know, though, that elephants were taught to write the Greek alphabet with their hooves? Worn out by suffering, we lie on our great backs, tossing grass up to heaven as a distraction, not a prayer. That's not humility you see in our long final journeys. It's procrastination. It hurts my heavy body to lie down. Thank you for listening to the Poetry of Science.
Thank you very much for being with us for this episode of the ideaXme Show. ideaXme is a global platform. Our mission is to move the human story forward by sharing knowledge of the future. You can find us on all major audio networks at www.radioideaXme.com, on YouTube and Vimeo. Please subscribe.